Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Susie from Sea Salt and Stitches. Thanks for joining me again today. I am full of the cold today. Again, I seem to be catching the cold all the time at the moment, so I do apologise for the sound of my voice, and I'll try my best to edit out all the sniffs and coughs and horrible cold sounds as best I can, but I do apologise about that. But today I am here with a really exciting video. This is a collaboration with Jessica from Lorraine, who is an Australian vlogger. I'm sure you guys know her. If you don't, you can check out, there's a link down below for her channel. And we have a really fun collaboration today, which is called One Look, Two Seasons. So you can probably guess what the basic idea is. I'm obviously in the UK and it's winter at the moment, and she lives in Australia and it's summertime with her. So we got together via email and picked two sewing patterns that we decided we would both make, and I would make a winter version of both patterns and she's made a summer version of both patterns. So I am going to be talking through my makes, and then you'll see like a little lookbook at the end, and then you can go over and check out her video, which is live right now as well on her channel, and you can see her summer version of the same patterns, just to show you the versatility that patterns have. You know, you don't have to, just because maybe it's like a summer dress, you don't have to make it like that. Depending on how you style it, what fabrics you use, you can make it more suitable for autumn or winter or whatever. I mean, I know that's quite obvious to a lot of people, but I thought it would be fun. We thought it would be fun to just sort of put it into practice and show you guys, as I say, one look but two seasons. So the two patterns that we have picked are actually both from Sew Over It. Totally unintentional, but it's just worked out that way when we were deciding which ones to pick. And you know, it's quite difficult picking patterns that two very different people with very different styles are happy to make. So, you know, we went back and forwards a wee bit deciding, you know, do you want to make that, do you want to make that? So we have picked the Ella blouse, as I say, from Sew Over It, and the Aran Skirt, which is from the Capsule Wardrobe ebook by Sew Over It as well. And yeah, so let's get into each make. Okay, so the first one I'll talk about is the Ella blouse. Now this is a woven wrap blouse with kimono sleeves that go down to about the elbows, and it's big ties. It's a cropped waisted blouse. And because I am making one suitable for winter, I decided that I wanted to lengthen the sleeves, so I've made them full length. Ironically, in these photos you'll probably see most of the time I wear them pushed up, but that's just my own personal thing. I do that in the winter anyway, so out and about they'd be pulled down and I'd be wrapped up in a coat, but when I'm around the house and it's a bit warmer, sleeves are rolled up. Same with this, sleeves are rolled up. And I also decided that I wanted to make it from a jersey instead of a woven. I was wanting to steer clear of like cotton lawns and things like that, or something light like a rayon, which is beautiful in the Ella, getting mixed up, the Ella, but a bit summery. I did have a few options. You could have gone for a crepe, quite a heavy crepe, or maybe like a wool crepe would be really beautiful to make that into a winter version. Personally, I went down the jersey route just to see what this pattern would be like sewn up in a jersey, and I managed to get hold of some wool jersey, so it's wool content, it's not 100% wool, from, I think I got it from So Essential. I'll put the link down below to where it is. They have a few different colours. It's a really nice quality jersey actually. Initially when I got it, it feels a bit itchy in your hands, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to enjoy wearing this, but I went ahead with it, and once it's turned into a garment against your skin, actually it doesn't bother me at all. And I'm the kind of person that, you know, a little sort of itchy fabric drives me absolutely insane, but this for some reason doesn't, even though when I'm touching it, you know, when I was working with it, it was a bit itchy, so that's good, happy about that. Anyway, in terms of what I did to adapt it to suit a jersey, I pretty much sewed up the whole thing as it is, except the back neckline. Instead of putting a facing on it, I actually just turned it over and did a zigzag stitch instead of bothering with a facing. The front is elongated and turned over on itself. And I think maybe interface that on the woven version, I'm not sure. I didn't bother with interfacing, but I did just still turn it over. I was contemplating like top stitching that down, but I haven't, and I actually prefer that because it gives you a little bit of play, because the jersey's so there's a lot of drape to the jersey and movement. You could sort of play around with the neckline a little bit, and you could actually have like quite a high cross if you wanted to, or actually put it down really quite low depending on the look you were going for. And just having that, the fact that the neckline isn't sewn down, just it helps with the placement a bit better. Actually works far better. Yeah, so I kept the darts in the pattern. I decided just to keep that as is. Sometimes with a jersey pattern, you know, or jersey fabric, you don't need that as much because it sort of molds to the shape of your body, but I thought I would just stick with it. And so I did bust darts, and there's darts at the back as well. I think I said that already, sorry guys. And the only thing I did slightly differently is actually for the base, the hem of the blouse, I actually just overlocked it, and I didn't even turn it up. So I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to love this pattern or not, because I'm sure if you've been following along with me for a while, you'll know that I don't really do a lot of waisted styles these days, just because my body shape changed after having my baby. But do you know what? I actually really love it, and it's really comfy to wear, but looks quite smart and put together. So it's a good one to have in your wardrobe to pull out when you need something like that. So I actually am really pleased with the top, so I'm glad I was pushed to try that slightly out of my comfort zone, so I'm chuffed with that. Okay, so the second pattern that we picked was the Aran Skirt, which is a straight skirt with buttons down the front and slash pockets as well. And you can either do a mini version or a midi version. And I was toying with various different ideas. I mean, I was initially sort of thinking about doing the mini version because it sort of lends itself well to big thick tights and boots. But then when I was picking my fabric, I was toying with quite a few different ideas. In the e-booklet that the pattern comes with, or it comes in, Lisa's made it up in denims and what else? Sort of like, you know, sort of canvasy type fabric, and no stretch as well. I've made this skirt one time before, and I made it in a denim, which actually was stretch denim, and I took quite a lot off the sides because the stretch made a huge difference to the fit. So when they say don't use a stretch fabric, they mean it. I mean, you can use a stretch fabric, but as I say, you've got to adapt the fit quite a lot when there's stretch in the fabric. So anyway, waffling there, I ended up choosing a really lovely black and white and grey tweed fabric that I had in my stash. I just as soon as I saw it, and then also paired with the charcoal grey jersey of the Aran top, I thought, yes, that is such a lovely combination. I know it's sort of cliched for winter being black and dark grey, but I had it in my stash and I went, yes, let's do that. So it has no stretch whatsoever, and I cut out the same size that I had made my first skirt in, and actually I didn't alter it at all. I've kept it completely exactly as the pattern is. Normally I have to take it in a bit around my hips and stuff, but this time I put it on and I decided no, it's actually perfect, because I just was keeping that straight style rather than turning it into more of a wiggly pencil skirt, which would have needed a bit of tapering in at the bottom. I made the midi version, if you haven't figured that out yet. I thought just with that fabric and the look I was sort of ending up putting together, I just thought the midi looked really nice with it. So even though the tweed is quite a thick fabric, because it's has a bit of a loose weave to it, I did go ahead and interface the waistband and also the button placket down the front. The pattern says that, you know, depending on the type of fabric you're making it with, you know, you either can or you don't have to interface it. If it's a really thick, sturdy canvas or denim, you wouldn't need to interface it necessarily. But because of the weave, I thought, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Another thing I did was I decided to underline the skirt with lining. Rather than just putting in a lining, I treated it as underlining instead, and I actually quite like the look. I'll get it for you now and show you. Okay, so that's the inside, just to show you. This one side of the pocket bag is with the lining fabric as well, and yeah, and then I've just turned it up and sewn it on top of itself as well, so it's all in position. I hope you can see that clearly. I knew my sewing machine wouldn't be able to cope with top stitching this. You're supposed to top stitch around the whole way around the outside of the waistband. I did do top stitching down the front there, which actually looks really nice. I'm really pleased with that. But in terms of here, I decided not to do that, and that's how you're supposed to secure the waistband as well, as when you're top stitching it down. So what I decided to do is just get the old hand sewing needle out, and I sat down and I slip stitched that down, and it's really nice and neat, and I'm very happy with it. The other thing I did differently was fewer buttons. There's actually supposed to be 8 buttons down the front of the midi length skirt, but I had ended up picking these leather buttons because of the fabric is tweed, these sort of old-fashioned, if you want to maybe call them that, vintage style buttons. I thought just lended themselves perfectly to this type of fabric. I thought they looked really nice together. But what I did buy 8 buttons, but then I ended up sort of lining them up on the skirt, deciding where my buttonhole placements would be. I just thought it was just too much. They're quite big buttons, and you know, being black, maybe if they had been a different, less in-your-face colour, the 8 would have been okay, but I decided just to I just cut it down by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2. I got rid of 2 of them. So yeah, and I'm happy with how it looks. The final thing that I did differently is this first button in the actual skirt part, that one's real, is just sewn on the front, and there's no buttonhole here. I could not get my machine to sew that buttonhole. Again, it was to do with this bulky waistband here. My machine was having none of it. I even I tried all the different tricks of sort of adding in little bits of fabric to try and make it all the same height, but for my feet to cut, for the big buttonhole fit to cope with it, but it just kept sort of jamming, and then this was getting caught on the bottom of my sewing arm, and oh, it was not fun. So I just in the end said stuff it, and I've sewn it on and I've put little snaps on underneath instead, and it's fine, it does the job. So yeah, so I'm really happy with it. I can't think of anything else to tell you about it, to be honest. So there you go, there are my 2 makes for our One Look 2 Seasons collaboration. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and yeah, it was a really fun collaboration to do with Jess. She has made the cutest summer version, so when you finish with this video, please go over and check her website out. It'll be linked down below, and you can see her version of those 2 patterns and how she's made it suitable for summertime instead. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will leave you now with a little lookbook of me styling the outfit out in the wilds for winter. If you're interested, the coat I also made myself, and I'll put the link down below to that pattern if you're interested in that kind of thing. And also, if you're interested, I did make this top. I made it for the Satisfaction blogger network. It's on the Satisfaction blog, so again, I'll put the link down to that blog post if you are interested in finding out about how I made this top and what pattern it is, and it's got a few alterations and things like that. So anyway, as I said, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll be back very soon. Bye!